this computer. Okay. So we're gonna do a plaid. I'm gonna go kind of slow and then not super slow, but hopefully you'll be able to keep up. If you have questions, go ahead and ask me. Let's go into Photoshop. And it's weird and tricky. It's funky. So let's just do it. So in Photoshop, what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a new document, and it's going to have a funky image size. So you can go create new, or you can do file new, whatever's easier. I'm just going to do create new because I have this option. And the image size that we're going to create is going to be, make sure your document measurements are inches, right? So make sure they're not pixels, but inches. And it's going to be 0.1, not 1.1 inch, and 0.1 inch. So this is like 1/10 of an inch, right? Then make sure it's 300 pixels per inch. Make sure it's pixels per inch, and RGB. We always work in RGB. So, okay. So remember, I did create new. Then it's 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1. 0.1 width, 0.1 height. 300 pixels per inch. And you're going to hit create. And this is going to be super tiny. It's going to be this small. In fact, you can kind of zoom in on it. You can use your zoom tool. You can zoom in, but this thing's going to be really, it's like 1/10 of an inch square, right? Okay. So now what are we doing? Now what we're going to do is we want to select 1/4 of this. Now the question is, how are we going to select 1/4 of this? Well, we're going to use our rectangular marquee, which is the square selection box, but we need to program our rectangular marquee, how big we want it to be, and it has a tiny number. So rectangular marquee, I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to go fixed size. So I selected my rectangular marquee. I'm going to go style. Style's up on the top. That's the control panel. I'm going to go fixed size, and you want to type in 0.05 inch. You can do this. You can do 0.05 and then IN and then press enter. So 0.05 inch. And then I already did this, but I'm going to do it again just to show you. Oh, really? Okay, 0.05 IN for inch, and you press enter. So 0.05, which is what? 1/2 of 1/10 of this image. So it's very tiny, okay? Then what we're going to do, so that's 0.05 for your fixed size, height and width for your rectangular marquee. Then you're just going to use your rectangular marquee, and you just click. You're going to get a box, but you want to move it into the corner. Now, let's see. Snap. Let's see if I have my snap on. Snap may help us. Let's see. I do have my snap on. So snap, what it does, snap works like a magnet, and it kind of helps you line up edges of layers or edges of a selection, and it'll help you kind of snap it to the document edge. So if you, I kind of recommend it if you want to use it. So you would go to view and you would check mark snap. So make sure you have a check mark on snap. It's under view. And then you want to see what you're snapping to. You want to snap to, well, we don't have a grid yet. We don't have a grid yet, but later you're going to want to snap to grid. We want to do document bounds. Let's see. Later, when we turn on the grid, because mine don't have my grid on yet, but I still have a check mark there. So snap to document bounds. This will kind of help you. It'll kind of snap to the edge of your document. Okay, whatever. There it is. Now I want to fill that rectangular marquee with black. So I'm going to basically make a checker. So I want the default black and white. actually, yeah, I guess do I actually want to fill, I just want to fill this with oh yeah. Okay. Here, let me hide you guys. Okay, we do want to fill this with black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, there's a default black and white. It's right on the bottom of your tools. There's a little black and white box. It's right here. It's right next to this arrow, and that'll give you default. They don't call it default black and white, but what do they call it? They call it default foreground and background color, whatever. It's black and white, so I call it default black and white. Anyways, we want this black in our foreground. So you just click right here. It's like this little, there it is. You click on it. It's like a little black and white box. Anyways, we want this black. Then we want to fill it. So the shortcut to fill is you hold down the Alt key, or Option if you're on a Mac. So you hold down Alt and you press Delete. So you hold down the Alt key and then you press Delete, and that will fill. Another way to fill is you could go Edit, Fill under the menu, but then you have to not fill with a pattern. Normally, lately, we've been filling with patterns. So if you did Alt Delete, that's better. But for here, you could go, instead of a pattern, you can fill with a foreground color. And you just want to make sure it's normal 100%. You hit OK. And that will fill with your foreground color, which should be the black. All right. Now, we want to have this box down here too. Now, what we can do is we can make a copy of this. I've taught you how to make copies, so maybe that's the easiest way. But you can use your Move tool. So I'm going to select my Move tool. And to make a copy, I'm going to hold the Alt key or Option with my Move tool. So I'm going to hold the Alt Option key. Then I'm just going to drag a copy of this. You know, we've done, dude, this doesn't fit. Okay. Oh, what? I did something
That's
wrong.
weird, because mine fits.
Yeah, mine fits too.
Oh my God. Good. Well, I'm glad yours works, guys. Shoot, I wonder if I went beyond the artboard. Let's see. Dude, I don't want to count these pixels. Oh my gosh. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete this. Dude. Oh, here, I can do this. Whoa, this is mega suspicious. Okay, I'm gonna fill there. I'm gonna make another box. Whoa. Okay, so I think I just went beyond. Okay. So my problem was when I had my selection, my mark, I think I went beyond. I think I went outside of the document. And when I filled it, I didn't fill enough. So, okay, good. I'm glad it worked for you guys. Great. Oh, and we filled on the background, and that's okay. The reason why it's good that we filled on the background is because white is already on the background, and that way it's black and white. And we do want black and white. And so now, hopefully this worked for everybody. Wow, I can't believe that was embarrassing for me. Now what we want to do is we want to define this as a pattern. So you want to select all. So I'm going to do Control A, or Command A, right, if you're on a Mac. So Control A to select all, and then you're just going to go Edit Define Pattern. So Edit Define Pattern, and this is what we did for the last couple of weeks, but I know it's easy to forget. So I'm going to go Define Pattern, and there's a name. The handout tells me you can name it whatever you want, but the handout says Plain Weave 300. You could do 300 PPI. Whatever, Plain Weave 300 PPI, that's it. So this kind of represents the threads, right? Okay, so here we go. So at least that's my assumption. So I'm gonna hit OK. So there it is. So we created this, and that's step one. That's step one. And let's see if it wants me to do anything else with this right now. Nope, not yet. Okay. So did anyone else have funky problems like me? If not, you don't have to say anything. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm hoping that it worked. If not, you can always like watch this video again and you can watch my mistake, right? Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next really weird thing to do. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to make, now if you saved this as a pattern, you don't have to save this, but if you want, you could save this file as its own document. Like you could just save it into a folder. You could save it as what, plain weave 300, but you don't have to. As long as you defined it as a pattern, you're good, you're good. Okay, so let's make a new document. So I'm going to go File, New. So File, New to create a new document. And this one is going to be 2 inches wide, 2 inches wide by 0.5 inches wide. So it's 2 inches. So make sure your measurements are inches. 2 inches by 0.5. And the resolution is still 300 pixels per inch. Let me double check my complicated paper here. It looks good. I don't know. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so 2 inches wide by 0.5, 0.5. Okay, so I'm gonna hit create. So here we go. Now, this is where we want to show the grid, and this is where we want to snap to grid. This can help us. So we're going to go View, Show Grid, because we want to show the grid. Now, you might need to change your grid. That's okay. Don't worry about that. But for now, we want to show the grid. So it's under View, Show Grid. It's under Show. So Show Grid. So here it is. You can see the grid. Now my grid may look different than yours. I'll show you how to fix your grid. Then we want to do View, Snap to, and make sure there's a check mark on grid. So if not, click on grid. So I have a check mark on grid because I already set this up. So if there's no check mark on grid, click on grid. It'll put a check mark there. Make sure your snap, there's a check mark on snap. That means you're going to be using snap. Snap will help us fill in these threads real easily, okay? But you probably need to change your grid. Your grid is probably funky. It's probably not, because it's a weird grid setup that I don't normally use. So now how do we change the options for our grid? If you're on a PC, you're going to go edit, and you're going to go edit preferences, and it's going to be guides and grid. Now if you're on a Mac, try to go to edit and see if you have preferences. But I think if you're on a Mac, you either to get the preferences, you either go to the PlayStation, haha, the Photoshop button in the far upper left, or it might be the Apple. So it's either the Apple to get preferences, or it's the little Photoshop button to click on preferences. But on a PC, it's just under edit. So I don't know, look for it if you can find it. Anyways, we want to do guides and grid. So guides and grid. So I'm going to click on guides and grid. And what we want is for the grid, we only want to change the grid, but we want to make a grid line every 2 inches. So if this is in inches, make sure it's inches. So a grid line every 2 inches, and then subdivisions 20. And that's pretty weird. Again, I suspect that this has to do with threads. So individual, like, thread count. I could be wrong, but that's my best guess, because it's you'll see how it's going to work real nicely.
Excuse me, quick question.
Yeah.
So when you went to preferences, what did you hit then?
It was guides, grid, and slices.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, if you ever go to the wrong thing, like you get this box, it has all your preferences. So like general, and then you can kind of go through to find them all. And then basically, yeah, but it's guides and grid and slices. Yeah, so it's right here. And then don't forget, it's grid line every 2 inches, subdivisions 20. And that's it. Subdivisions 20 is weird. So it's definitely specific for what we are going to do. So anyways, I'm going to hit OK. Okay. Now, because we have snap, what we can do is we can start coloring this however we want. Now, I'm just going to, now technically, I mean, You can do whatever you want. The sample, you don't have to follow the sample, but I'm just going to do something similar to what the handout does, just for your, well, I'm going to pick a different color actually. So I'm going to start with like a blue, and I'm just going to fill the whole background. So I'm going to go Alt Delete. Remember, Alt, shoot, it's hard for, I'm going to go a lighter blue so you can see my grid. There. So you want to just fill a background color. You can just go Alt. Remember, whenever you do Alt Delete, you hold down the Alt key and then you press Delete and then let go of the Alt key. If you just press Delete, it'll delete the whole layer. In fact, let me try. I hope it won't. See, I'm hoping it's not doing that because that's my background layer. But normally, if you have a separate layer and you just press Delete, it'll delete the layer. That's why I'm overemphasizing the fact that you hold down the Alt key and then you press Delete to fill. It's just if you get accustomed to it, it's just like Alt Delete real quick, and you fill with your foreground color. It's real convenient for me. But remember, you could go to Edit, Fill, right? Anyways, I filled with a light blue. Now I'm going to pick some colors. I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to go orange, and then this is where you want to use your rectangular marquee. So your rectangular marquee. And you can basically follow the group. Oh, nice. So you're going to use your rectangular marquee, but you need to change it so that it is not fixed size anymore. So what it did was it was set to fixed size. So it just did my little square. I don't want that. I want a stripe. So I'm going to go to the style for my rectangular marquee, and I'm going to select normal. I just want to use my rectangular marquee normally. So what I'm going to do is I can drag a stripe. Now the stripe should snap to those grid lines. So I'm just going to do one here, and then I'm going to fill with my foreground color, Alt Delete. Alt. Whoa, what's going on?
Wait, do you want us to make it like yours, or can we make her?
No, you could do any colors you want, any colors you like. Yeah, like pick colors you like. Let's see. I'm just freaking out that I didn't fill. Let me try again. I got the background layer selected, Alt Delete. Oh, okay. So I don't know why it wasn't filling earlier. That was weird. It might be my keyboard. Okay, but anyways, yeah, you can do any color you like. You can do green, blue, pink, beiges. I don't care. I'm going to add, so you can add individual threads or stripes. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that. Maybe I'm going to do a different, you can do as many colors as you want. Let's see. This one has, the sample has 1, 2, oh my gosh, too many in my opinion. It's like 4 or 5. I'm just going to use 4 different colors. So let's see. I'm going to use this blue. And then I'm going to use a bigger blue here. The nice thing is, though, is that you can, let's see, and I want to have one, let's see. I'm going to have this blue overlapping my, stitched into my orange as well. So we're kind of like programming the repeating plaid of what we're going to do. So remember, you can do whatever you like. It's nice to have one color directly on top of another. It could be a bigger stripe, like my orange can be bigger. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to have orange a little bigger. It's up to you. I only have 3 colors. I'll get one more color. Let me get this green. In fact, I'm going to do this. Ooh. But what you want to do is, the most important thing that you want to do is that each stripe snaps to a grid line. Like you don't want to go halfway. Like you don't want to do this. This is like halfway. Let me zoom in. So you can kind of see that I left half of a grid box. So what I would do is I would just fill this color all the way to that grid line. That's what you want to do. You don't want to have any color go halfway on a grid line. Meaning, think of each row as a thread or a piece of your plaid, and you don't want to have anything halfway because this is a tiny measurement. Each measurement is the smallest, each box is the smallest measurement that you can have physically. If that doesn't make sense, just don't make your colors go halfway in between a grid box, right? Okay, so there are my colors. You know, now I'm getting kind of excited here. I want to add a little more green. So I'm going to go green right here. But snap should help you snap your boxes, your stripes to your grid. Although mine's not as snappy as it normally is. So I'm like, that's kind of strange. Okay, so there is my sample. Now you can pick any colors you want. The sample on the handout, it's like has a yellow background, like yellow, pink, and blue and green. I don't know, I got a light blue for mine just to mix it up a little bit. Any colors you want. Now, when you are finished with your colors, again, we want to select all, and then we want to define this as a pattern. This is going to be our pattern for our plaid, right? So I'm done. This is kind of suspect. Let me just zoom in here. Okay. I don't know. It looks like there's a dark line on top of my box, and it appears that that is just the outline of my document. So it should be okay. Like it has a little shadow down here. Okay. Anyways, I'm ready to select all. So I'm going to select all, Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, or you could go select menu, select all, right? Then I want to define this as a pattern. So to define as a pattern, you're going to go edit, define pattern. So define pattern, just like we've been doing. Hopefully you're like, dude, Dave, I know this stuff. Good. If you know it, great. So define pattern. And let's see, does she have a suggestion for the name for this? No. So I'm just going to name it my plaid. So whatever you want to name it, plaid, you know, I can name it cool plaid, or I'm just going to name it plaid. So I'm going to hit OK. So I named it. So I defined my pattern. And that's that. So now, does anyone have any questions? Did anyone have any trouble with any of that crazy stuff? Good. Okay. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. Like I said, you can always watch this video again. And you can always print out the handouts. Like the handouts, you know, tell us step by step. So great, good job so far if you did this. If you're bored, just bear with me. I want to go slow because if we can just get through the plaid, like we'll be stoked. Because I've talked to other students and they're like, I couldn't do the plaid. And it's like, oh my gosh. They had other teachers, of course. And so it freaks me out. The plaid is tricky. So I just want to make sure we can all do this plaid because it's tricky. It's weird. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to make a new document. And for some reason, it's 11 inches by 11 inches. So let's do it. So we're going to go File, New, File, New. It's going to be 11 inches by 11 inches. And it's going to be 300 pixels per inch. And that's it. So 11 inches by 11 inches. So it's bigger than a regular 8.5 by 11. It's an 11 by 11 inch square, 300 pixels per inch. So I'm going to hit create. So 11 by 11. You're like, oh my gosh, Dave, how many times can you say that? Okay, so we have an 11 by 11 inch square. Now we want to fill this with our plaid. So let's see. She recommends we do it my way, which is great. So my way is this. We're going to go, let's see. Okay, let's just do it. So we're going to go edit fill. So edit menu, fill. And then remember, if you changed your fill contents to foreground, make sure you change that so it's pattern. Because we want to fill with a pattern. We want to fill with a pattern. And then make sure before you pick your pattern, just make sure it's normal mode, 100%. That's default. So you don't really have, normally you don't have to worry about that. Then you want to find your pattern. And hopefully I got my pattern down there. Here it is. And now you want to fill your pattern. It's the plaid, or well, your stripes. They're stripes for now. So here we go. And I'm going to look at it and you can see it should be seamless. So you have seamless stripes. Okay. Now, this is the point where we can turn off the grid. We don't need to show the grid anymore. If you're at this stage, you can hide the grid. And I'm going to do that because this is a lot to look at. So let's not look at all that stuff. So I'm going to go view menu, and I'm going to go show, and I'm going to uncheck grid because I do not want to see the grid anymore. So I'm going to do uncheck show grid. So I'm under view. So there. And then I recommend, if you are at this stage, you want to turn off snap. So only use snap when you need it, because snap can be annoying if you're not intending to use it. So I'm just going to turn it off. So I'm going to go view, and then I have a check mark on snap. So if I click on snap, the check mark should go away and it should turn off. You're like, Dave, what do you mean it should turn off? In previous versions, there was this weird glitch where you would turn off something and the check mark would still be there, but it'd be off. It was just a visual glitch. It was a bad visual glitch. Anyways, normally if you click on a check mark something, the check mark should go away and it'll be turned off. Okay, so here we go. So we have stripes. We have stripes. Okay, so let me see what's next. That was 10. Okay, now, how are we doing? We ready for the next step?
I have a question.
Yes.
Once I fill my pattern, it just becomes black.
Okay. So go back to edit fill and make sure it is pattern to fill and not foreground color. Check that. Make sure that's going to fill with the pattern.
Yeah, it says pattern, and then I have the stripe selected.
Yeah. Okay.
then-
Show me real quick. Show me your screen,
Let's see if it does anything.
or
Yeah.
see if you can share. You should be able to share.
How do I share? Share screen.
Yeah, try it.
Oh, it says I can't share screen. I think you have to.
Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can, oh, I had it. Okay, now try.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's check it out.
Where's the
Okay, so go
background?
edit, fill,
Edit, fill, pattern.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's see, normal. Okay.
I have my stripes.
Yeah. Okay.
And bang.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Check your image size. Oh my gosh, this is like you're testing my fixing knowledge. That's why it's so tiny. So hit cancel. Just throw this untitled away. Just exit. Yeah. So now go file new. And then 11. So yeah. So pixels. So go see where it says pixels instead of inches.
That's what happened.
Yep. Oh, okay. Now make it 11 again. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, but that's good. I'm glad. Okay, okay, great. So I'm going to share again. So let's see. Good. So let's see. Share. Okay, great. I'm kind of glad that happened. It's an easy mistake to make, but yeah, maybe see. This is relatively not that difficult, but then weird little things like that happen that screw everything up. So I'm glad that happened. Okay, great. Easy fix. Now what we want to do is we want to make another document, same thing, 11 by 11, but this time we're going to fill with our checkerboard. So we're going to go first, we're going to go file new, we're going to make another new image, and it's going to be 11 by 11, it's going to be inches, and it's going to be 300. So 300, just like the last one we made. So I'm going to create 11 by 11 inches at 300. Okay, this time we're going to fill with our black and white checker. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go edit, fill, pattern, and then this time find your checker. So your checker. So here it is. Now, when you fill with this checker, it's going to be super tiny. You might want to zoom in, and it's going to be like, it's going to give you a headache if you stare at it too long. So yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting a headache. So there it is. We have the checker. So basically we filled this one with our checker. Okay, so oh my gosh. I'm just gonna switch away from it because it's, whoa. Okay, so let's see, what are we gonna do with that? I'm gonna just double check before we do stuff with that checker. Let's see, it says, yeah. Oh, okay, so first we do wanna go back. So we wanna go back to our stripes and we wanna copy our stripes. So we wanna select all on our stripes. So go back to your stripes and you're gonna go select all, which is Control A or Command A. And we want to copy. So the shortcut to copy is Control C, or you can copy, I think you can go edit and there's a copy option and it'll tell you. So if you're on a Mac, it'll be Command C. If you're on a PC, it's Control C. So Control C to copy. Then, gosh, before we do this, just, I don't want to stare at those black. It drives me crazy. Okay. Then we're going to go back to our black and white checker. And I recommend you kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see your checker. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a lot because it's bugging the crap out of me. And then what we want to do is we want to use our magic wand tool. Now we only want to select the black, but let me tell you the settings for the magic wand. Your magic wand is probably underneath your lasso. So it's underneath your lasso. If you don't have your magic wand there, like if you have your quick select tool, there's a quick select tool, it's like a brush with a spot. We don't want that. We want, if you hold down the mouse button on the quick select, you'll get the magic wand. If you don't have the magic wand handy, the magic wand just looks like a magic wand. Ta-da, there it is. Now, but let's check our settings. Check your settings for your magic wand when you select it. The tolerance needs to be 1. That means it's only going to select one color. Okay. We also want to select, well, we want contiguous unchecked. So mine is currently unchecked. So you want contiguous unchecked. That means when you click on a black square, it's going to select the black everywhere. Okay. So you want contiguous unchecked, and then you want anti-alias unchecked as well. So anti-alias unchecked as well. That's pretty important because we only want to technically select only those solid black pixels of color. So tolerance, so magic wand tool, magic wand, tolerance set to 1, anti-alias unchecked, contiguous unchecked. And one more thing, you don't have to do this necessarily, but if you have your pixel grid, I have my pixel grid on. Pixel grid, I don't know if you can see this, but it shows you the individual pixels on the grid. So I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to, you don't have to, but I'm going to turn off the pixel grid. So I'm going to go view, show, and I'm going to uncheck pixel grid as well. Pixel grid. All right. Now, with my magic wand, here I go. With my magic wand, I'm going to click on one of the black boxes, and it should select all the black boxes. So I'm going to click on one black box. It's hard to tell, but it should select everything. Now, your question to me is, how do I know if, because it looks like it's hard to tell if it selected the white or the black because the selection is everywhere. If you clicked on a black box, then it selected all the black boxes, right? Now what we want, yeah, question?
Sorry. Yeah, whenever I did that, it didn't select the entire thing. It's only selecting like a strip of 4 pixels.
Okay, so now do you have the now magic wand selected?
Yes.
Okay. Tolerance set to 1,
Yes.
anti-alias unchecked,
Yes.
and contiguous unchecked.
Yeah. It's weird because it's showing me multiple like little like ant lines.
Okay, so let me do this first, and then you're going to share your screen with me, okay?
Okay.
So if it did work though, for all of you, if it did work, you selected all the black squares, And previously we copied our stripes, right? And if you didn't copy your stripes, I guess technically you could go over here and copy your stripes again, but you already copied this. So this should be in the memory. I'm ready to paste, but I'm going to paste a special way. It's weird. So here's how we're going to paste it. You're going to go edit. I'm sorry. Is it edit? Yes. Paste special. Not just normal paste, paste special, and it's going to be paste into. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paste into, basically, we're going to paste into that selection. So watch, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Paste into. And what it did was it gave me a new layer with my stripes, but it only pasted my stripes into the black spots, right? And there it is. It's really complicated. So I didn't catch who was having trouble, but show me your share screen and let's go through that step by step. Okay.
Okay.
Doria.
Please excuse my home screen.
No problem.
Okay, so yeah, all of
Go. Okay, so
that-
first, let's do this.
Okay.
Go to your stripes. So go to your. Did you have like an 11 by 11 filled with just those stripes?
Yeah,
Okay, so then do Control C to copy.
yes.
Okay, now go. Okay, now zoom in super close. And oh, weird. Now press, are you on a PC? Hit Control D to deselect. Okay, and now let's see. Everything looks good. Okay, now click on one black box.
Yeah, it's doing it again. And then
Oh,
I'll show you because I was kind of following along even though it
whoa.
wasn't. And then paste special, paste in place.
No, it's not paste in place.
Oh wait.
It's paste into.
Oh, paste into, thank you.
I didn't see it though. Oh, there you go, paste into.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
Wow, that's funky. Oh, Okay. Zoom in. Zoom. Okay, so deselect first. Deselect. Control D. Okay. Now zoom in. Okay. Use your eyedropper. Let's see. Yeah. Click on that box. Okay. And then go to your color tab. It's like on the top left. Go to your color tab. I'm curious if it's the same color. No, it's I'm sorry, top right. I'm stupid. Top right. Yeah, color tab. And then go to we need go to the option button for colors. There's like those 4 lines. Yeah. Nope. Yep. 4 lines. And then do CMYK sliders. Yep. Okay. Now. Okay. Now use your eyedropper and click on a different box. Okay. Or click on a black box. Click on another black box. Okay, now click on a different black box. Okay, so now use your magic wand. Let's see. Sample all layer. Okay, click on one black box.
Oh wait, this looks more right than it was.
I don't know. Okay. Yes.
I don't know how we fixed it.
I know, that's my problem. Okay, but anyways, do paste into. Or so paste special.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, so now delete that. Yeah. Wow. See? Okay, great. Okay, well, I think going through the steps again may have helped, but yeah, I didn't catch what the problem was. So freaky. But anyways, the good thing is it worked. I was gonna say, if that still didn't work, I was gonna say go back and do your original black and white checker. It's like, oh my gosh, what a pain that would have been. But okay, so that worked. So that was great. All right. So now everyone else, any other questions? I told you it can get funky. It gets funky. Okay. Any other questions before I move on?
Mine is showing like black squares. I don't know if it should be doing that.
Maybe okay, share screen.
Okay.
Let's fix this. We got time. We got time to do this. This will be good for people to see. Okay, so let me see your,
Let me just put it
Oh.
in real quick. Where was that? Oh, I gotta select it.
do select all. Don't do it like that. Do
Oh, how do I do select all?
Control or Command A. Do Command A.
Okay.
Now copy.
Paste.
No, copy.
Oh,
So go edit. Yeah, copy. Okay, now go to your checkerboard, wherever that is.
well, I think I was doing it reverse.
Now deselect, Command D. Okay, now zoom in. So you want to be able to select one of those squares. Oh my gosh, zoom in. Yee-hoo. Okay, magic wand.
Boom.
Select. Okay, now do edit paste special. Edit
Okay.
paste special, and then paste into.
Okay.
Did that work?
Yeah, I think that worked.
That worked. You might have. Okay, so
I think I'm
you.
doing it reverse. I think I was pasting the squares into the other one.
Yeah, I think you might have accidentally selected the white. So you selected all the white, but that's good. You got it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So now you can exit. Okay, great. Good job. Okay, so that's a common thing that happens. Okay, great. Now what we want to do is let's go back to our stripes. And what we want to do now is we want to rotate our stripes so that they are horizontal. And there's a lot of different ways on how to do this, but the easiest way to rotate our stripes is to rotate our canvas. Because we have a square canvas, we can totally rotate our canvas. Let's see, do they tell us to do that? Oh, they say image rotation. Yeah, same. Okay, yeah, that's what I meant, image. Okay, so we're going to go image, menu, image, and image rotation. And we just want to do 90 clockwise. So image rotation, 90 degrees clockwise. Now, if you're like, what if I did counterclockwise? It would have been okay. Your just stripes would have been slightly different, but it doesn't matter to me. But clockwise, whatever. Okay. So now we want to copy our lines. So again, we want to copy everything. So Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac, and then copy Control C or Command C. Now we're going to go back to our this, and here's what you want to do. You want to go back to the background because currently my vertical stripe layer is selected. So select the background. Here's what I recommend. I'm not sure if the handout tells me to do this, but let's just be safe. It's in my opinion, it's better to be safe than sorry. So let's select your background layer and then hide the vertical stripe layer. So hide that. We want to only see this blinding black and white checkerboard. And oh my gosh, dude.
Can you do that again?
Yeah. So what I did was in the layers panel, I'm gonna hide my vertical color line. So I just click on the eyeball to make that go away. But then it's very essential that you select the background layer. You select it and it'll highlight gray. That means that layer is selected because we want to use the background layer as a selection. Then using my magic wand, I'm going to very carefully only select the white boxes. So I'm going to select a white box and it should select all of the white boxes now. Then I want to do the fill special. So the fill, what is it? The paste into. So I'm going to go edit, fill. No, I'm so stupid. Edit, paste special, paste into. And remember, I'm going to paste into the white boxes. So paste into, let's see if this worked. It did work. And let's see, now I have three layers. I have a background layer, I have a layer 1 and a layer 2. Now, if you made a little mistake and you have an extra layer, as long as it doesn't interfere, it's okay. But you should have you have a vertical layer and a horizontal layer stripes. And now make both of those visible and we should be able to see our stripe. And it kind of looks like Minecraft, right? It's like Minecraft because these are like tiny boxes of color. But that's really good. I mean, that kind of represents the individual threads mixing with the other threads. And that's it. That's it so far. We still have a couple things to do. But that's that.
Hey,
So,
David,
yeah.
mine still has a grid. When I zoom in really close, there's no grid, but like when I'm backed out, kind of like as far as you are. Oh yeah, see,
See, I have a grid. I have a grid,
Okay.
and
Just don't worry about it.
don't worry about that. So if
Alright.
you zoom in and it goes away, the grid won't print, and it just may be what I think it is. I think it's the edges of individual, like that pattern or the colors. So yeah, it's like it's kind of a vision. It's either a glitch or it's intended just to show us the edges of stuff, and I'm not sure. I call it a glitch because I don't want to see it. And I turned off my grid. I'm hiding all those things. Okay, so now what I recommend is I recommend you save this because this was a pain in the butt to make. So you could save this as your plaid. Like you could just save it as plaid. You can save it into your files. I'm not going to save. Boy, you know what? I'm going to save mine just in case something bad happens. I don't want to redo this. So I'm just going to save it. I got to find my Bitum file. I'm just going to save it in there. Let's see. I'm just going to save it as plaid just in case something happens. Now I'm not done with it. I'm not done with it. I'm going to do plaid 01. Okay. I'm just going to save it. That way, in case something happens, I can come back to it. Now, you'll notice that it looks like, I don't know, it looks pixelated, but it's okay. Like we can see these individual blocks. Now, I think for a technical illustration, it's actually good to have that because you can see like, okay, I can see every stitch line, right? Everything that goes underneath and above, I can see it, right? So it's good. But for the sake of learning and to make it look a little more interesting for our kind of like our lookbook, we're kind of making a demonstration page or a lookbook page or something like that. We want to make our plaid look a little more quote unquote natural. So, oh, but before we do that, let's see, we want to, well, we're supposed to make our plaid into a smart object as well. So let's do that too. Let's do that for kicks. We technically, we do not need our background black and white. Now, the handout says throw it away. I tend to not want to throw things away if I don't have to, but you can, if you got your plaid and it looks like this, you could technically throw this away, but I'm not going to throw mine away. I'm just going to hide it. I'm going to hide the background. Oh, look. Oh, funky. That grid hides when I hide my background. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, okay, whatever. Anyways, okay, so I hid my background. Now, for my horizontal and vertical lines, I want to select both of those layers, just both of those layers, and I want to make them both into a smart object. I can actually make both of those layers into one smart object. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to select both of these layers. I got layer 1 and layer 2. I'm going to hold Control and click on the other layer so that both layers are selected. Excuse me, both layers are selected. Normally you have one layer selected, excuse me, but to select an additional layer, you can hold Control and just click on it. You want to have both your horizontal and vertical lines selected, layers, that is your layers. Then you're just going to make a smart object. So I'm going to right click and convert to smart object. And it's going to combine both of those layers into one smart object. And I could name it. I can name it plaid. You should name it. Okay, plaid. Then if you saved earlier, you can just save again. You just save. So I'm going to save it. Control S to save or Command S to save. Okay. So that's it. So I saved it as a smart object. Now, the reason why we want to save it as a smart object is this. When we do our filters, when you do filters on a smart object, they're not permanent. So a filter is not permanent on a smart object. So that way, if your art director came in and she's all, well, that looks nice, but I don't need the filter, just throw it away. You could throw it away easily. And then you still have your smart object plaid, right? And that happens, that's pretty common, right? Okay. So did that work for everyone? You were able to select both layers, the horizontal and vertical lines, selected both layers at once, and then you made a smart object out of both of them. That worked for everybody? Okay, good. Just real quick, another way to make a smart object, if you selected both layers, you could have gone to layer, like make a smart object, like smart objects, it would be like convert or make a smart object, right? Okay, there's a lot of ways to do the same thing. Now we want to add some filters. We want to make some filters. I'm going to zoom in on my plaid here, and I want to add some filters. So let's see, what's the best way to do that? Well, you want to go to the filter gallery. So filter gallery is filter menu, and then you go down to the filter gallery. And you probably learned about this in your intro class, but let's talk about it a little more in detail today because we're going to have fun with filters after the break, okay? So we're going to go filter gallery. And the question is, what filters do we use to make this look more like fabric? That is a good question. I recommend, what do I recommend? Does our handout say anything? Let's see. She does the same ones I do, I think. Let's see. She does. Can't read it. So the ones I do. Now you could pick some of these, like obviously not paint dabs. Let's see. No. Now these might be interesting if you were designing like not for a product, like not for a clothing product, but you're just making an interesting background for like a digital device that it doesn't have to be made. Yeah, you can pick any of these and get a weird look. But we just, what do we, oh, brush strokes. I like angled strokes. Okay, let's try crosshatch. No, yuck. Angled strokes, yuck. And then what else do? I do, don't like these. Sprayed strokes. Actually, that one looks kind of nice. Sprayed strokes. It just kind of looks like it's like a little, bead of thread. I don't know. Okay, so I like sprayed strokes. I leave it up to you guys. Sprayed strokes, I kind of like. I normally do angled strokes. Now you can do more than one. So I'm going to start with sprayed strokes. If you want to add another filter, at the bottom of this filter panel, there's a trash can. Was this the bottom right? At the bottom right, there's a trash can and there's like a little plus. So if I click here, I can add one. And I'm going to try angled strokes. Kind of like it. Now remember, I'm zoomed in super close. So if it looks weird, it might be just because, oh yeah, that looks okay. I was zoomed in so close, that's why it looked funky. So I normally like angled strokes. I like sprayed strokes. And then let's see, there's one more. Sometimes I use, do you hear my kids back there? Let's see. Sometimes I pick, let's see. Let me try halftone. Okay, halftone. Oh, okay. No, not halftone. I like halftone though. It's like my favorite. Here I got graphic pen. Okay, here's the reason why I can't use these. And we'll talk about this when we talk about filters. It's using the colors I have in my foreground and background color. Usually the sketch filters apply. So I must have a green and a white. And that's why so I can't use these. So never mind. I like it. I like it. If you wanted a simple background image like this, you could do, I mean, this is good for digital. It's just not good for, we're going to construct a plaid. So whatever, it looks, I'll say whatever. Okay, so I like angled strokes, sprayed strokes, and then man, what is the last one? Let me find out what it is. Was it dry brush? It's not dry brush. If you like it, go for it. Colored pencil? No, not colored pencil. Oh, rough pastels, I think. Yeah,
Can you-
sometimes I use rough pastels. Question?
Yeah, can you show like how you got to that?
Got to this place? Yes,
yeah.
I'll show you.
I missed
I'm gonna ditch the rough pastels. I have all three. So, but just let me say, so I like rough pastels, angled strokes, and sprayed strokes. So, you know, yeah, I kind of like that. So that's what I like. Angled, okay, so angled strokes, sprayed strokes, and are they all under are they all under artistic? No, some of them are under brush strokes. Okay, so I'm gonna hit okay. But yeah, let me show you. Okay, so let me show you how to get there back again. So basically you want to select your layers. Make sure you select your layer. Here you can see I had green and white selected. But anyways, I would go filter menu, and it's just filter gallery. So you go filter gallery, and that's it. So once you're in filter gallery, you have all these kind of categories, like they're folders, and you just open them up. So I used some in artistic and some in brush strokes. And I like I said, I like to use rough pastels, angled strokes here, and then finally sprayed strokes. And then don't forget, if you want to add more than one filter, at the bottom right, there's a plus. If you want to delete one, like I got all these old ones, I can delete them. You should click on the trash to delete the old ones. There's a trash to delete, and there's a little plus to add. It's at the bottom right. Once you get the look you like, you hit OK. And remember, I'm not going to grade you on, I mean, it'd be nice if it looks like fabric, but I'm not going to necessarily grade you on, uh-oh, they used the wrong filter. Don't worry about that. So, but what I am going to do, what's nice about this though, is when I look at your plaid, I can turn off your filter because this is a smart object, remember? So remember, your plaid is a smart object. So that means your filters are separately applied. So I can hide it. So I can just get back, watch, I can hide this. I can hide my smart filters, and it's back to my pixelated plaid, which is what I need, right? So anyways, this is a nice feature. Once we are done with this, let's see if this works. Once you're done with your fancy plaid, now we're ready to make this a pattern fill. Let's see if it works. I'm going to select all. I'm going to see, I got a feeling that this is going to mess up. I don't think it's going to line up, but it's okay if it doesn't line up for today. So I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to go edit, define pattern. And I'm going to name this plaid. I'm going to name it something different. So this is my plaid effect, because I have effects with it, and I'm going to hit OK. So plaid effect. Okay. Now, you don't have to do this necessarily, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bigger document and I'm going to fill it. And let's just see if this works. So I'm going to go, because I suspect that I'm going to have a seam. I suspect it's not going to work. So let's see. I'm going to go, you don't have to do this next part. You just have to define your plaid, define your plaid. But I'm going to, just for kicks, I'm going to make a huge document. I'm going to go inches. I'm going to make like 30, not that big, 30 by 30 inches. And I'm going to fill it with my plaid. And I'm going to fill it, edit, fill. Again, you don't have to do this part. I'm just demonstrating if my plaid isn't seamless. Let's see here. Oh, look at this. Oh, okay. That's not so bad. You can see a seam here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this looks okay. The problem is this, there is a seam. You can see it right here. You're like, Dave, there's a seam. So this ain't so great. It's the reason why I have that seam is because of the filters, and I can't avoid it. So if you wanted to make, here, I'll just show you. If you wanted to make a seamless plaid, just turn off your, and don't worry, it doesn't have to be, I mean, it's seamless, but the effects are kind of messing it up. So you're okay for today. But if you wanted to, like, let's say you're art director, or let's say you're working for somebody And they're like, no, 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 get rid of those filters. I want it just to be seamless. I want to see those blocks of color. You just either A, hide your filters or just get rid of them. I'm going to copy this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to define just the color, not the effects. So let's see, I'm going to define pattern. Just going to name it that. And now let me go back and now let me fill with this. So I'm going to edit fill just with that. And that should be, I got to pick the right pattern though. Now let's see. It should be seamless. That looks pretty good. So that's it. Lucky you, you don't even have to worry about that. So you just need this. So we're golden. Then what you need to do is you need to just define this as a pattern. And we're going to take a break real soon. So I'm going to stop. So that's all we need to do to make this plaid, but I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop recording. And then I'm going to see if there's any more questions. Oh my gosh. Okay, stop.